This is Texans TV.
It's great to be with you. This is Texans Playbook. I'm Drew Doherty, and we thank you so much for joining us. We've got a fantastic show for you today because we're mixing it up with some rookies, with some Texans legends, and with some food. It's all part of the taste of the Texans. Also, speaking of rookies, Calen Bullock makes an appearance, and we got to get the GOAT himself, Andre Johnson, in the mix as well. General Manager Nick Caserio will join us, but we begin with Head Coach DeMeco Ryans. He went 1-on-2 with the Texans radio crew of play-by-play voice Marc Vandermeer and radio sideline reporter John Harris. Here is a snippet of their most recent conversation.
Joining us now in studio, Head Coach DeMeco Ryans. Coach, good to see you.
Hey, good to see you guys.
All right, following the mini bye, and I wanted to ask you about this. It's not a regular bye. It's not a week on either, so how do you handle the situation when you get a couple of days like that?
Yeah, you get a couple of days, just take it to get away and refresh, right? It's just a time to hit reset, right? Just rejuvenate yourselves physically, mentally, and that's what we took these past 3 days to do.
Coach, you sitting at home, whether you're here, do you check out the games, or are they just kind of noise in the background, the games that are going on? Do you kind of take a look at them? How do you kind of handle that?
Yeah, we sat at home for a little bit watching the games.
Like everybody.
Had a little youth basketball going on. So my sons were playing basketball, so I was able to go see them play, which was fun. It's always fun to see them, growing and showing their competitive spirit as well. So I had fun doing that and just sit back watching some of the games, and you see just how wild the NFL is.
It is.
Each and every game is something different. A lot of games going down to the last possession, going to overtime. So it's exciting.
Well, you got to feel good about a few things here. In first place in the AFC South, as you take inventory, you're over the halfway hump of the season here. I know you're not playing as well as you possibly want to, but you're playing well enough to have the first place position and a 6-3 record.
Right, we're in a good spot right now at the halfway point, right, to be in first place in our division. Right, got 6 wins out of the first 9, which is pretty good. We'll take that. Of course, a couple games we dropped there that we feel like we should have had, but we didn't make those plays in the game to win them. So, we move forward, we press forward now. It's a great. I think the Thursday game came at a great point in the season. Like right at the halfway point, we get to take a couple of days to refresh, and now we press forward. Now we had 8 games left, and my message to the team is basically like, how do we just get better moving forward? I want to see our team just continue to grow and continue to get better, and see, can we play our best ball down the stretch?
Coach, you kind of hit on it right there that I want to ask you about, because we've never had a bye this late in the year. We haven't gotten to it, and we went for a long stretch. It's a long stretch to play. How important was it to get those couple of days, not a week, but get a couple of days to at least just refresh? And what do you think is more important, the mental freshness or the physical freshness?
Yeah, I think first and foremost, it's the mental freshness that everyone needs. Coaches, players, like, you just get away from it for them, because you get used, you get into monotony, you get into kind of the hamster wheel. You're just going, it's the next opponent, and you kind of just get so locked in there that you need everybody, whatever type of work that we do, everybody needs that rest and recovery, and it's hard to get that in the NFL season, especially when you have such a late bye week as we have. But man, everyone needed that little refresher to get ourselves right mentally, to spend time with the family, which is very important and vital, because I always feel like if you're personally, right, if you're good away from the building, that's going to make you better once you're in the building. So I'm encouraged, I'm refreshed, I'm excited to see what's ahead for us.
How hard is it for you to completely unplug, even for a few hours, Coach? Because I know you got to have a feeling of, hey, if I call so-and-so and I got an idea about this or that or the other thing, how hard is it to let go like that?
It is hard. It's hard to let go, because it's just, football, it consumes us. Our job, it consumes everybody around us. They're asking or trying to send some encouraging words or whatever the case may be. So it does consume us. So I take the phone and I just chunk it out of the way. I don't want to, nobody texts me, everybody has the answers to how everybody turns into a coach, and that's when I just throw the phone away.
So with the game on Thursday, Coach, I know I don't want to look too much in the past, but just in looking back, I know you and I talked after the game about just as it happened, the frustrations that you had. As you went back and you watched the film, did you feel any better about some of those things? Like, you know what? In the game, I kind of had this feel, but I go back and watch the film, and I kind of got this feeling about it. Do you have any kind of thoughts about, what you were frustrated about that maybe you saw it a little bit differently as you watched the film?
It's the same frustration for me. I wish it was different, but it's the same. It's just like we were in a really good spot going into the half, and I mean, just to come out at halftime, and it's something we kind of been focusing on, is being better coming out of the half, and for us to not stop the run, it was just the same. That this doesn't sit well with me, right? How we fit the run, that's the one thing, and then just operation, like just not playing the right way offensively, right? And we got ourselves in in shooting range, right? We were there across midfield a couple times, and then we find ourselves going backwards, right? So those things just didn't sit well with me, and they're all fixable, right? And that's the encouraging part about going forward. Like, man, they're all fixable, right? We know how to fit the run. We know how to play the run. We got to, of course, it's going to come up this week. We got to be more physical. We got to set edges offensively. Let's execute better. Let's operate faster, and let's just keep pressing forward, moving the ball forward. But still a little frustration. But at the end of the day, like I tell the guys, like in this league, like there are a lot of ups and downs. We talk about building a foundation. We talk about the grind of a season, right? There are always ups and downs of a season, but how strong is your foundation that allows you to withstand, right? A little wind, little waves that come at you. It's just about being steady, right? And that's where I want our team focused on, just us being steady, focusing on ourselves, and let's keep pressing forward. We lost the game. Right? The one we felt like, we should have won it. It didn't happen. They made more plays than we did. At the end of the day, what do we do about it? We don't suck. We don't just hold our heads down because of it. Man, there was some good players. Wilson made two. Unbelievable catches. Right. It's some things. It's just it happened. It was bad. It happened. Now we press forward.
Yeah, and sometimes you have to look at what you have to work with, right? You talked about Mixon. Tank had a really big game the other night. You had some positives going on that you can build with.
Yeah, a ton of positives, man. That's where I like to live on those positives, right? Tank, man, making plays for us. When we give the ball to Joe, something good is going to happen, right? So it's us trying to find a way to lean into that a little bit more, right? Because Joe has been such a productive player, right, an impact player for us, right, and we've been blocking it really well in the run game, and that's been a strength of ours.
I want to ask you about this, and not about anybody specific, but when you have players who are out and they might be able to go, but it's kind of iffy, how tough are those decisions? Because you might think, well, another week would be good, but we could really use you, but we don't want to make you worse. That must be really difficult to decide those things.
Oh, that's one of the toughest spots being a head coach, right? Of having to make that call of, if a guy's close, but we still don't know. For me, I'll always lean towards making sure a player long-term health is always at the forefront of my decision, as opposed to, come back a week too soon and now we lose you for, call it 4 or 5 more weeks. So let's make sure, right, you can practice throughout the week, right? And let's make sure you can show your teammates and yourself, you can gain that confidence. I can go out and perform my job to the highest level.
You have to tell them to sit down? Like, hey, you got to sit, and they want to play?
Sometimes throughout my conversation with them, I talk around, and I let them make that decision.
Well, that's what I was going to say. During the game, I would imagine that's pretty tough because you're focused, hey, I want to make sure I got the right defensive call against this offensive scheme, and then he's sitting there going, I want to go back in. How tough is it during the game to kind of handle that? Yeah,
it's very hard, because if they felt something where they had to leave the game, obviously they're not going to be at their best.
Sure.
So is that guy at 70% better than our other guys who are fresh and ready to go? Right. I'm always on, let's get as many healthy guys out there as possible going 100%, and that's going to be better than a guy who's hobbled.
After a quick break, General Manager and Executive Vice President Nick Caserio checks in.
Texans Playbook is sponsored by Community Coffee, strong as our roots, by Reliant, the official energy provider of the Houston Texans, and by your Houston area Ford dealers. Ford is the best in Texas.
You just heard from the head coach, so why not hear from Executive Vice President and General Manager Nick Caserio? He had a nice conversation with Marc and John, and here, again, is part of that.
Nick, you go through the roster and you start saying the names that are in our roster, like Pro Bowler, All-Pro, hell of a defensive coordinator. Let's get the scouting report in Detroit Lions through your eyes.
Yeah, you're going to be hard-pressed to find a better team in a league than the Detroit Lions. So it starts at the top with Brad and Dan, the job that they've done with the program from where it started to where it is now. Nothing but respect, appreciation, admiration for the team that they built. The team is built kind of in their images and Dan's images, and they play a certain way. They play with a certain mentality, mindset, and overall style that is difficult to deal with on a weekly basis, and they're unabashedly who they are. 3 really good coordinators. I mean, obviously, Dan has done a great job as a head coach. 3 really good coordinators in AG, who is a former Texan, Aaron Glenn, Ben Johnson, and then Coach Phipp has been one of the best special teams coaches there for a long time. So starts at the top, really good coaching staff, great front office with Brad, Executive of the Year last year, rightfully so, and then with the football team, and they've drafted very well. They've signed a number of veteran players to kind of supplement what they have, and offensively, as efficient as an offense there is in the league. Jared's playing probably as good as any quarterback in the league. The number of incompletions he had, I think they put a stat up there. It was ridiculous. The number of incompletions he has is less than the number of touchdowns or something ridiculous. Yeah. So very smart, efficient, accurate with the ball, understands how to play. Ben does a good job of mixing and matching, marrying a run game with the play action. As good a play action team as there is in the league. You have really 2 good backs. Individually, they're good on their own. When then you combine the 2 of them, it's as good of a combination in the league in Jamar and David Montgomery, who really is probably underrated. Not enough people talk about how good of a football player he is. They're both 3-down backs, and they complement each other very well. Amon-Ra has been one of the more productive receivers in the league since he's entered the league. So he presents a lot of issues on the inside part of the formation. And Jameson, I know he hasn't played the last couple games, but he's done a good job with the opportunities he's presented. One of the best young tight ends in the league in Laporta, and then they added Brock Wright in the offseason. So they're skilled players. They have a good complement of skilled players. They use all of them. And the offensive line, probably one of the best offensive line in the league. They extended Sewell in the offseason, who's one of the best tackles in the league. Decker's been there for a long time. Extended Ragnow, who gives them, I'd say, a good presence in the middle. Signed Zeitler. They kind of had some moving parts there. Left guard, Glasgow, and some other guys in there. So it's a very efficient offense. They can run the ball very, very well, which then kind of sets everything up offensively for them. On the defensive side of the ball, they play within a very aggressive mentality and mindset. They're on you. They don't give you a lot of space. Even though they lost Hutch, they've played as well as any defense in the league. I know they acquired Zadarius here. It's just going back to the trade deadline, so it kind of gave them a presence on the edge of the line of scrimmage there. But really good inside player in McNeil, who not a lot of people talk about, but he's kind of ascended to what he is now, and I think he got a contract extension in the offseason as well. So they're really good in the inside part of the defense. 2 really good linebackers in Anzalone. They took Jack Campbell there in the first round a year or so ago. And in the secondary, I mean, it's a ball-hawking secondary that plays sticky coverage. I mean, start with Branch and Joseph. As a tandem, probably the 2 best safeties in the league. Branch on his own, one of the best football players in the league. This guy does a lot of things very, very well. Traded for Carlton Davis. When you actually look at their corner group, turn the entire thing over. All 6 or 7 corners that are on the roster, brand new players. So between trade, free agency, drafted Terrion Arnold in the first round, signed Robertson inside to play nickel. So, I mean, this is a good football team. They're 7-1 for a reason. And then you combine that with the kicking game. Electric returner and Raymond, who had a couple of long returns there against the Titans. And Coach Phipp does a really good job in the kicking game, has done for a long time. So, good challenge, but if we play the right way, we'll have an opportunity to put ourselves in a position, hopefully with a chance to win in the fourth quarter, and that's all you can ask for. So good challenge, but excited about the challenge. These are the games you want to play in. Good football in November, Sunday night at home. What better place to be than NRG?
Absolutely. Nick, probably nothing surprises you in this league, but with Jared Goff, a lot of people from the outside, when he went to Detroit, thought, all right, they're just waiting for the next guy. But here he is, the guy. Is it a good inspirational tale for a lot of players, regardless of position, that, hey, you never know. You get into a good situation, you keep working at it, things could work out?
For sure. Whatever reason, sometimes players just need a change of scenery. And Jared led the Rams in the Super Bowl when he was in L.A. We played against them in whatever year that was in the Super Bowl when I was in New England. So Jared was the number one pick for a reason.
Right.
He's a really good football player. Sometimes you have some lulls. Sometimes you need to change the scenery. Seems to have been reinvigorated, and they've done a good job of just kind of setting up the system, kind of playing to his strengths. And Jared's a very smart, very efficient, very accurate quarterback that takes care of the football. And then they've married it with Ben's system, and he's played at a high level over the last few years, I would say. So he's a big reason that they're effective offensively. So Jared's a really good football player, and they signed him to a contract extension in the offseason as well to kind of show their commitment to him. So sometimes there's some narratives that are out there about a player and what's going to happen or what do you think they're going to do, but ultimately teams are going to do and make the decisions that they feel are best for them. And say it looks like they made the right decision with Jared, no question.
You mentioned this Darius Smith trade to not fill in the gap left by Aiden Hutchinson, but it's pretty obvious, Nick, with a guy that the way Hutchinson was playing, you're going to miss him. But why do you think they'll miss him? Like, what was he bringing to that Lions defense that maybe they missed not having him out there?
Yeah, and even without Hutch, they've played really well on defense.
Right.
So it's not as if you take him off the field. But Aiden is he's so disruptive. He's very skilled. He's very athletic, and he's very disruptive, and he plays with a relentless motor and style. I mean, he was among the leaders in sacks. Significant impact on the defense. Anytime you take a player that caliber, you would think there's going to be a little bit of a setback, but credit to AG and the staff, they really haven't missed a beat, and it's a credit to all the other players that they've put on the roster and put in that defense. But Hutch is a really good player. It's unfortunate what happened to him. Sounds like he's going to make a good recovery, but he's been a tremendous asset to the program and in their city in general.
Psychological factor. You want the team playing at peak proficiency every single week, but people talk about, well, you're playing a really good team, so you're going to be on top of your game even more than ever. What is there about that, Nick? What can you tell us about that dynamic with the game week to week, regardless of team and opponent?
I think one thing we've all learned, and you probably have seen, this is as competitive a professional sports league as there is in the world. So each week there's an opportunity. If it doesn't matter really what the records are. I mean, records are what the records are, but ultimately it comes down to how do you perform that particular Sunday? Because once the ball is kicked off, nobody really knows what the records are. That's all you're going to rely on is, do we execute? Do we make the plays that are conducive to winning, or do we not? So it's no different from a mindset standpoint. There'll be a few more eyeballs on the game because it's Sunday night, but in terms of your preparation, in terms of your focus, in terms of how you go about your week, there's really no difference or no change. Understand we're playing a good opponent. The margin of error may be maybe a little bit smaller, but it doesn't necessarily change our overall mindset and overall thought process. Understand what the keys are. Go out there and play with the right mindset and the right mentality. And if you play with the right style, then you put yourself in a position to hopefully have a chance to win the football games.
Coming up, it was a long and winding road to get to Canton. Andre Johnson's Pro Football Hall of Fame journey when we return. We're back here on Texans Playbook, and you know, one thing I've loved most about 2024 has been Andre Johnson's journey to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. It began before that, but in January, he got elected into it, and then August, he got inducted, and we still get to celebrate him, most recently, with his Pro Football Hall of Fame ring ceremony a few weeks back. So, with all that in mind, here is a remembrance of that journey.
Touchdown, Houston! Touchdown, Texans! And Johnson does the leap. Andre Johnson, touchdown! Oh, what an individual effort!
Never thought in a million years I'd be a kid from Miami that can come and have an effect on the whole city.
On behalf of the Pro Football Hall of Fame and every Hall of Famer that's ever played this game, we want to welcome you to football heaven.
With the third selection in the 2003 NFL Draft, the Houston Texans select Andre Johnson, wide receiver, University of Miami.
I was excited when my name was called. Didn't really know much about the team. I knew it was an expansion team, knew the team wasn't very good. I knew it would be a challenge. I embraced the challenge. Once I got here, the city welcomed me with open arms. You want to be successful. You want the team to be successful. Make this organization, a reputable organization. So that was just a chip I just played with.
Andre Johnson, touchdown Houston. Andre Johnson works his way to the end zone. Touchdown, Texans.
And it is caught. Andre Johnson again for the touchdown.
I just wanted to be consistent. I wanted to do everything I could to help the team win. You can't do it all by yourself, but that was the mentality I had. Like, I can go out here and get this done, even though I knew I couldn't do it by myself, because you have to have your teammates also come with you. But my mentality was I can get it done by myself. So that's just what I've just kind of, use those little things to kind of motivate myself and just to try to be consistent week in and week out.
Never whined, never complained, never made it all about him. Think about some of the best receivers that played in that time frame. It was a whole lot of I, me, my mentality, where Dre was always team first.
For me, I think the physical nature that I played with, I was more of a guy who wanted to deliver the blow than receive it.
That is a touchdown!
Are you kidding
What a play by Andre Johnson!
He was probably one of the most intimidating players as a wide receiver that you ever want to see. When he came down the field, I mean, that guy, he was a monster. You always knew, where Andre Johnson was on the field when you played.
But I think the physical side and speed was something that was different, in my game. Because you don't really find too many 230-pound receivers that could run like I can. I was a big guy, but I could move like a little guy, so I could play inside, outside, I could do everything on the field.
Andre Johnson, on behalf of the Pro Football Hall of Fame and every Hall of Famer that's ever played this game, we want to welcome you to football heaven. Welcome to the Pro Football Hall of Fame in the class of 2024. Andre Johnson. Welcome, bro.
Thank you, bro.
And I'm just blessed to be here so you can enjoy this with your family and for the rest of your life.
I appreciate it. Thank you, man. Thank you. Thank you.
It's awesome, man.
It don't even feel real. I've seen this so many times. Like, it don't even feel real, bro. I feel like I'm dreaming.
What was it like to see Chris right here? To have him deliver this news to you,
man? Man, when I was walking up to the door, I just saw the gold jacket. I could see the gold jacket through the door. I'm like, hell no. Like, I know this is not about to happen right now. All the hard work, dedication. I played the game from the age of 6 years old, man, until I was 35. Never missed a year. It was something I truly loved and dedicated my life to. I remember I was at the draft in Philly, and I was sitting in a room with a bunch of Hall of Famers, and I remember, God rest his soul, Mr. Jim Brown came in there, and I was the youngest guy in the room, and I literally got up and gave him my chair, and it was just like a different energy, and I used to always say, I want to be part of that. It was just a special feeling. And now I'm a part of it.
378 members of the Pro Football Hall of Fame with this class. You're 375.
Appreciate it.
30-some thousand people have played this game. Men have played this game at the professional level.
Right.
Only 378 are in the hall. You're one of them.
I appreciate it.
Congratulations again.
Thank you.
Well deserved.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Appreciate it. Was it open or?
Yeah, it's probably open. Just to your left.
Hey.
Oh, yay, yay. I'm happy.
How are you doing?
We're just all so delighted with the good news. Congratulations.
Thank you. Good to see you.
Good to see you,
So
honey.
we're in the Pro Football Hall of Fame now.
Well, you should have been there for several years, so finally it happened. So
Yes,
it makes us so happy, so proud of you.
That was actually funny. I had never heard Miss Janice talk like that before. You know, when I walked in the house and I went over to her, gave her a hug, and I told her, and she was like, "We're not just gonna party today, we're gonna party all year long." And I was like, "What?" Like, I really wanted her to be there because, you know, Bob couldn't be there. Because I know it really, really would have meant a lot to him. So things have a way of working themselves out. But it was fun. Like, even right now, she sits in the suite with my bobblehead, my Hall of Fame bobblehead, like set up in front of her. So it's a cool thing.
You were going to be a Hall of Fame someday.
You know what's so funny?
Someday.
When we were at the game, and
I didn't know.
You asked me when we were at the basketball game, Rockets game, and you said, "What you think?" I said, "I think I got a good shot."
You said you had a good feeling.
Yeah, I said, "I got a good feeling. I think I get in this year."
You're right.
And it happened the next day. And I'm like, I said, "I got a good shot." I said, "I think this year, it was a year that happened. It happened this year, and it happened the next day."
I know nothing.
I remember the night before I got the knock, me, Hannah, Cal, and Travis was at the Rockets game. And Cal had asked me, he was like, "You think you're gonna get in this year?" Which was funny, he already knew the answer. But I told him, I said, "You know what?" I said, "Cal, you know what?" I say, out of any year that I've been a finalist, I was like, I feel very confident that I get in this year. And he was like, "Really?" I was like, "Yeah." So he never said anything. He was just like, "Okay." So he was like, "We'll see." The next day, you know, I got the knock.
Coming up on Texans Playbook, more of AJ80's Pro Football Hall of Fame journey. We're back on Texans Playbook. Drew Doherty inside NRG Stadium, and you know, it's been so much fun celebrating number 80, Andre Johnson. Here's more of his Pro Football Hall of Fame journey.
I got fitted for the jacket. It was right after the luncheon the next morning after the NFL honors. So I got fitted for my jacket, my ring. They measured us for our bus. So they did all that like right away. Like that happened the next day after it was announced in Vegas. The bus, I'll never forget when I walked in his studio, the bus was actually facing opposite of me. It wasn't even close to finish. It was just clay at the time. As soon as I walked in, I was like, that's me. Like that's how like detailed, and even at that point, like you could look at it and I'd be like, yeah, that's my bus right there. Oh no. First time. It's crazy though how they take these measurements and create something like this.
don't do it yet.
So this the actual.
This is it. And then wait, and then you're gonna take it out.
I might cry.
You're ready.
You ready? I can't put it on? Not yet?
I'll help you put it on.
Damn.
What do you think?
I'm a little speechless right now, to be honest. Wow. Never thought I'd be putting one of these on.
Okay.
I'm speechless. I don't even know what to say.
Did you see your name inside it?
No, I didn't.
You want to open the inside liner? On the other side.
$375.
$375.
Oh, this is nice. Be at this point is truly, it's just an amazing feeling. I don't think it's really words that can really describe it. You know, to so many guys that's played the game that you've looked up to, you know, you tried to mark your game after, and not to be in the room with those guys. This is, I don't know, man. I don't really know how you explain it. So this is definitely, even just trying to know right now, just, you know, it's a little emotional. So.
August the 1st, welcome to the Houston Texans 2024 season. As today, the Houston Texans are in Canton, Ohio, site of the Pro Football Hall of Fame, on a weekend that will culminate with Texans great Andre Johnson's induction into the Showcase of the Immortals, the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Canton, Ohio, AJ's on his way.
One day I was at the facility doing something. DeMeco, he asked me, he was like, did you hear anything about the game? And I was like, nah. He was like, man, we get the game. He was like, I'm gonna see if we can stay. When he said it, I'm like, all right, like, but you could tell how much it meant to him. Like, I was just kind of like, that'd be cool, like, you know, to have the guys there. I don't even think people even really realized they were there until I said something about it. But I did want to mention them. Man, I hope you guys really take this in, enjoy it, cherish it. Because one day, one of you guys will be standing up here, man. I know for me as a player, I wish I had, you know, to see something like that. When I got back and, you know, I went out to training camp, you know, so many of the guys came up and was like, man, I really appreciate that. Like, they was just even just talking about the experience. So you could tell it meant a lot to them. You know, I'm glad that was able to happen.
Houston, we have no problem.
Ladies and gentlemen, presenting Andre Johnson for enshrinement in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, his former Houston Texans coach, Gary Kubiak.
You know, he's a great coach, but he's a hell of a person, and he had a great effect on my career. Even to this day, like, he always hit shoot me a text or hey man, just checking on you. You know, you don't really have a lot of coaches who do that. You know, he always checks on me. He's always asking about the guys. You know, have I talked to this guy? Have I talked to that guy? You know, he's very concerned, you know, with his former players. So he's a hell of a guy.
Today marks a very special moment for me, my family, and so many other people who have impacted me throughout my football journey.
So there's 3 teleprompters that sit, 3 huge teleprompters that sits right in the middle in front of the podium. 2 of them go out. Was a little nerve-wracking because it's like, why would this happen to me at this, you know, at this moment, like at this huge moment? Like in my head, I'm like, you just gotta come with it. Like just go, don't hesitate, like just go. I just thought about the key points I had and I just spoke from my heart.
I've reached the pinnacle. To be sitting up here with these guys I idolized, guys I wanted to be like, and now for them to be my teammates.
You can't mention the greatest football players ever without mentioning Andre Johnson. Like it's only 378 and you 375. Like that's crazy to me. So seeing that jacket, open it up, seeing a 375, your number, that just hits a little different. You know, I always want people to just say he did it the right way. He left everything out on the field. He came and gave his all week in and week out. And he worked his tail off. That's really all I care about, you know, is that people, you know, feel like I went out and did things the right way and did it as a professional.
I'll end off with this. I'm happy as hell again to be your first Pro Football Hall of Famer. Thank you.
When we return, Calen Bullock is a rookie safety for the Texans who's having a fantastic year. That's all next on Texans Playbook. Appreciate you sticking with us here on Texans Playbook. You know, safety Calen Bullock is picking off passes this year for the Texans defense, so it's natural that we highlight a little bit of what got him here. My Story, My Game, featuring Calen Bullock.
Grew up in Pasadena, California, about 25 minutes away from Los Angeles. My childhood was really fun. I grew up playing multiple sports. My mom did everything to keep us busy, keep me and my siblings busy. So I played baseball, basketball, ran track. Whatever sport was around that time, I was playing it.
Number 3, Calen Bullock on the return.
Football came into the picture when I was about 5 years old. It always was my #1 sport. I could just go out there and just have fun. I knew I was more talented than most of the kids. I still remember my very first game. I had like 6 touchdowns. Catching it, throwing it, wherever they need me to play, I was doing it. It was fun for me. Went to John Muir High School, about 5 minutes away from my actual home. Playing both sides of the ball, it still takes me back to the times where football was so simple. You just go out there and you're better than everybody. You're more talented than most of the kids you're playing against. And then having the relationship with your teammates, your brothers that you have in high school, it's nothing like it. You're all kids, you're all just out there just having fun. My sophomore year of high school, I knew I was going to play in college. When I got my first offer, I knew college was just around the corner for me. It was a dream to play at USC, especially me being a Southern California kid, growing up down the street from the Coliseum, growing up watching USC play as a kid. I always knew that I wanted to play there as I got older, and then I remember when I got that offer, I felt good. I remember my first practice just soaking everything in, telling myself like, I'm here now. This was a 6-year-old me dreamed of. And I remember just going out there and the older dudes that was taking me under their wings was just telling me like, yeah, you here now, soak it all in and, you know, play my game.
After my freshman year of college, I had a lot of success. I knew after that year, my career was just going to keep going up from there. So I knew that NFL was right around the corner too.
With the 78th pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the Houston Texans select Calen Bullock.
Draft night, I was in California with family. Family was around me. I had a draft party. A lot of friends was around me. I remember my emotions was just everywhere. I was trying to stay calm. I was trying not to watch the draft, just keeping up with some of my friends who got drafted and congratulating them. And I remember just getting the call that the Texans was going to come get me, and I remember everything.
I'm doing good. How about you?
We're doing great. We're doing great. Congratulations. We're going to turn the pick and make you a Texan. So happy to have you here, man. Really excited.
Yes, sir.
My mom was crying the whole day. Before I even got drafted, she was just crying. She just couldn't believe that the day was here. Pick came in on the TV. We just hugged each other and we cried. Cried together. It was very special for me to see her happiness. I knew like I was making her proud, so that really was special to me because I know my mom, she worked really hard to get me to this point in life and raise me and kept me out of trouble from the environment I grew up in. So I knew this was really big for her and it felt good just making her happy. I love it here, especially my teammates. They're really great guys. They came and took all the rookies under their wings, and I've been learning from them day in, day out, and say it's really been good. It's a family. My goals right now, football-wise, is just coming in and making an impact my first year. Coming in and show the guys that I'm about everything they're about. We're about hard work here. I'm gonna work hard, and I'm gonna push others around me. A rookie is a term to me. Yeah, we're rookies, but we've been playing football our whole life. That's my goal, make an impact on my teammates first. That's all that I care about, getting that respect from my teammates.
Coming up, your mouth will water at this review of the Taste of the Texans. Rocking and rolling here on Texans Playbook, and earlier in the week, it was the Taste of the Texans. It's a fun event that the team always does this time of year. The best restaurants, some of the players, some fans all come together for a great cause. At the 2024 Taste of the Texans, presented by Coca-Cola, guests join Texans rookies, players, and legends to sample food from 40 of Houston's top restaurants, including Truth Barbecue, Lock Bar, Marmo, Rolly's Frozen Custard, 10 Sushi and Cocktail Bar, Trill Tenders, and more inside NRG Stadium. The event raised over $460,000 for the Houston Texans Foundation to create opportunities and increase access to education, basic needs, and health in the communities that we serve across H-Town. A special thanks to everyone who came out to support this annual event, and we're excited to raise the bar even higher next year. We thank you so much for watching Texans Playbook. We do it for you because, hey, you're a good, strong Texans fan, and we appreciate that. So join us next week, same time, same place, or go to YouTube, our Texans channel. Go to HoustonTexans.com or the Houston Texans mobile app to check it out some more. Thank you so much for watching. For Gardy Swingby and the rest of the crew who put this together, I'm Drew Doherty, and we'll see you next time.